So we're back with our segment here on Breed about working with models, and today we're going to talk about what to do when your model doesn't emote. Not all of us are working with professional models. Normally by the time you're working with a pro model, you're getting the results that you're looking for or going after. Of course, everyone has a bad day. Someone might have a breakup or a death in the family or not feeling up to snuff. But normally, like at my level and people above me, we're working with girls that know how to emote. Mm-hmm. But let's say that, you know, we get, and I still run into the problem every once in a while. What do you do with a girl who can't emote? So normally that's new faces because they've learned how to emote through the years of experience. But what I will do is I will humor them. I will let them play the music they want to hear. I'll ask them what do they want to hear. I'll get them to try to open up. I'll try to talk to them before I shoot them in hair and makeup, which nowadays I leave everyone alone in hair and makeup and let them do their jobs, and I don't get too chatty. I go in, I watch the model, I figure out the psychology, and then I figure out how I'm going to direct her. But if I can see that the girl's a new face and she's young and she's insecure and she doesn't have much experience, I might spend a little bit more time in hair and makeup and get her to talk about, you know, where's she from? Is she in high school? Does she have a boyfriend? And try to be friendly with her and get her to trust me. Also, this is very important. The level of confidence that I go into a shoot is the level of confidence I'm going to bring up with everybody else and the entire team. So often models will read that too. If the photographer walks in and he's an asshole or he's not very confident, model's not going to have much trust in him or her, and that can be like key to getting results from a person. That's true in life, but confidence is really important. So I try to go in with as much confidence as I can muster and try to get the girl to understand that she can trust me and that we're there to have a good time and nobody's going to get hurt or taken advantage of, and we're going to have a playful day in beautiful clothing and fantasy hair and makeup, and it's going to be this lovely 8 hours, and hopefully that helps warm her up. Then when I get her on set, getting her to emote is kind of tricky. They're not used to moving, they're not used to emoting, and that's probably a lot more stepping in and showing them facially or giving them more visual aids and just sort of working through it. So again, it's psychology. I had a situation in Dubai about 4 years ago, and I worked with this girl who was beautiful. She showed up and she was fine in hair and makeup. I know she was really young. I think she was 15, 16. Anyways, by the time she got in front of the camera, she started crying. And I'm like, what the fuck? And every time I would start shooting her, she'd get more and more like tearful. Well, I noticed that when I'd stop shooting and I would just sort of stand there and talk to her, if I could make her laugh, she would warm up a little bit. And it would maybe be like 5 to 10 seconds, 15-second window. I'd snap it. She'd go into starting getting like more and more teary, and I'd stop. Again, humor her, crack some jokes, ask her what kind of music she likes, put on that horrible, rap that I wouldn't listen to, but I can sacrifice what I like to listen to get a result out of a model. That's fine.
Absolutely.
I mean, rap's not bad, but like Kenny Loggins or but you know what? If that's what she's really going to make her warm up, throw the Kenny Loggins on, man. What do I care?
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Anyways, I found out a couple days after that shoot that was her very, very first gig. And the reason why she was crying is she was just terribly nervous, and she had this team of people that had been working a while standing behind her, and it's all silhouette back there, and we're just all telling her what to do. And not all of us, but I was telling her what to do. She didn't know how to do it. She wanted to please me. She didn't want to look bad. She didn't want to look like an idiot.
Right.
But the insecurity overtook her, and her way of showing that insecurity was to cry. I found it extremely annoying. It lengthened my shoot double. I had to stop every 5 minutes and coax her back into a smile or a laugh. Mm-hmm. It was draining for me, but sometimes that's what it takes. So I use humor, I use music. I might bring on, I might have a chat with my makeup artist and say, what's going on? And she might say, well, her boyfriend just broke up with her this morning, so she's really sad. So then, if I know that, I'll just be like, yeah, men suck. Oh, right? You just try to get on their level and get them to warm up. Mm-hmm. Professional model, though, I remember one time I had a shoot with a very professional model. She walked in with her coffee, crying, got into the hair and makeup chair, stopped the tears, got on set, pulled it off, and then after the shoot, confided that her boyfriend had just dumped her on the way to the shoot that morning via a text. And, you know, she was very upset. Professional model would turn it off, take the personal life, put it outside, get the shoot done, and then collapse afterwards and go back into like, oh my God, my life is over.
Yeah, I literally had the exact same thing happen in this studio. Like one of the first couple times I shot here, and it was the same exact story. And like we kind of were talking about it in between shots, and it just so happened to be that it was supposed to be a really dark story. And I was like, look, if it helps you, channel that. Like you can let that out. And if you're lucky, sometimes it will play into what you're shooting. It doesn't. I mean, if a girl's boyfriend just dumped her and it's supposed to be like a happy day at the beach, you're gonna have your work cut out for you. But if it is coincidentally something that can kind of play into the mood, sometimes, let them just sort of do their thing, and, they might look really distraught and capture it. And it actually worked for that. And she was like, wow, after the shoot, she was like, you really it was a genuine mood, and you could tell. And she was like, thank you for doing that, because it actually it helped me to be able to just kind of be natural and not have to fake it. But the fact of the matter is, she still showed up. She showed up on time. She was professional, and she got the job done. It was just a nice coincidence that it happened to be something where it was supposed to be kind of dark and morose editorial. So she, the mood fit.
Perfect. Yeah.
And if you can make that happen, definitely go for it. But if it's something where like your situation where it doesn't make sense, like if you need your girl to look lively and she's just not, I agree, like playing their own music or just chatting, like breaking down. And it starts with building rapport, which we've talked about. But
well, the shoot in Dubai was a beauty shoot too, so. It was tough,
That is
the thing with shooting beauty is your drama is in the girl's emotion. With fashion they can move, and the drama's in the clothing a lot of times. But with beauty, it's like right in the eyes, and so it's all about that emotion that they're putting out. So having a very shy, tearful model is definitely work.
Right.
I've also had girls that. I've had every different situation you can imagine. I had a casting for an editorial in New York, and this is years ago, and the girl I had a casting. I saw about 15 girls, and the girl that I ended up choosing was this girl that on the casting was like all over me. She was like my new BFF, and she just couldn't get enough of me. Playing with my hair, it was a little even over the top, right?
It's a little weird.
But we were doing this very sexy shoot, and I thought, well, va va voom, she's gonna be like, baby. Next day on the shoot, total bitch.
Really?
Hated the hair, hated the makeup, hated the clothing, wouldn't let people touch her. Don't. She didn't like the makeup line and it was just nonstop bitch. Where's the food? Where's my personal driver? Where's my manicure? Not having a manicure. It was just nonstop.
Yeah.
And I took her aside several times. I called her agency. Nothing worked, and I finally I canned it. It was a magazine shoot, and the editor was dealing with the same bullshit, and we just said, that's it, thanks for today.
Yeah.
We just canned it. It was a wash. There are some times you can't rectify a situation.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
It was a weird situation. I don't know what the hell she was on, but I casted her based on her, the way she treated me the day before.
Right. Yeah, sometimes you're just not able to break the barrier, and if it's a situation like that where you have the availability or the ability to to push pause and cancel it for the day and maybe try it again another time, sometimes you have to, and if not, you kind of just have to use your best psychology skills and try and get through it. Which brings me to a question. I've heard of a lot of photographers who are they like to shout and they get very aggressive.
Just gonna bring that up. Yes.
Where do you fall on that? Do you think it works?
Probably my only good friend that I have is a photographer that's on my same level, that I've been shooting 30 years, and I've known him the whole way through. He's a big believer in breaking them down to build them back up, and he's a big shouter and screamer, and making them cry, and then getting then having this happy little reunion of anyways, him and I argue politely. I'm totally against that. I feel like if she didn't got it, she ain't gonna give it. You ain't gonna get it, and really it's just what I try to do is figure out strategies to get what I need out of that day, shoot fast, get it in the can, and then like get out. Whereas he's like sitting there for 16 hours trying to break this girl down and build her back up.
Who has time for that?
Who has time for that? We're not in the military.
Right.
It's not about, I don't want to.
You're not her therapist.
I'm not her therapist, exactly. And so him and I argue about this. This is one of our biggest arguments. And he, you know, like he'll even say about my shoots, like, well, she could have emoted better. And it's like, you know what, dude, like, you know, who cares?
Yeah.
You know? I don't really see them emoting that well on his shoots, but I don't say that. But
He knows now.
I don't know. But I am not a believer in screaming at someone. And I am a believer that if they don't have it, you're
Probably not going to get it.
probably not going to get it, you know. If a girl, I've heard a very, very famous female photographer say that she won't shoot virgins, and she shoots very sexy stuff. We all know who she is. I'm sure everyone can guess, and she's very famous, woman shooter. There's only 2 out there, so you can guess what I'm talking about. And I read where she's like, she only will shoot girls, that, you know, most of the time that have had some sexual experience, because you can't pull sexy out of someone who doesn't understand sex or
Right.
hasn't understand the feeling behind it or the, you know, the passion behind it. I tend to agree, you know?
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is that it comes full circle all the way back to casting.
Yes, it does.
So you see why we've done this way. But it's absolutely true. Like if you set yourself up the right way, you know, this stage where, you know, you're trying to get a model to emote who's difficult with that, if you're properly cast at the beginning, it becomes less and less of an issue. So it's like we said before, it's kind of a full package. It's like a broad set of skills, and you have to like pick and choose which little bits apply to the situation that you're in.
That's exactly
I mean,
right.
sometimes if a girl won't emote, you have to use your best psychology skills to communicate in a way that gets them to do what they want. But
Right.
if you cast well, if you get a really professional model, if you build the rapport, if you have the right etiquette,
Yeah.
hopefully it doesn't come to that.
Yeah.
So it's a broad skill set that definitely takes practice. You know, especially I find for guys, like, you know, a lot of us, I mean, we're all just like camera nerds, really. You know, and sometimes
Men?
yeah,
Yeah, you
I
guys
mean,
are
yeah, we get like some guys get really timid when, you know, they're trying to tell a beautiful model to act sexy or to, you know, emote in a certain way. So you have to use that full broad set of skills, and I think psychology really plays into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ability to read people and figure out your strategy.
Yeah. All right. Well, next time I think we're going to talk about building rapport,
Yes.
how to make that connection.
That's right. So stay tuned for the next series here on Read.